We are back, and with news dropping that Sunrise will be making another UC movie called Cucuruz Doan's Island, I figured since a lot of Gundam fans don't even know that the story was originally told in the original Mobile Suit Gundam series, I figured it would be a great time to explain the lost episode 15. So sit back and relax, and let's get into Cucuruz Doan's Island. The episode begins while Amuro is practicing on docking the core fighter. A distress signal is heard coming from a nearby location and is answered by Fra, and Bright orders Amuro to fly over the location with the core fighter. Amuro obliges and ejects the core fighter and takes off. Amuro then approaches the island that the distress signal is coming from and detects a downed Earth Federation fighter aircraft and lands the core fighter nearby. As Amuro approaches the plane, he spots two wounded pilots. They are tied to their seats. He reports back to Bright and then tells them to prepare battle stations in case of an ambush. Amuro then unties the pilots and lays them down on the beach to check their wounds. Sadly, one of them dies, and when Amuro goes to look at the other pilot, he is pelted with rocks. Amuro grabs the pilot and brings him to the plane for shelter. The pilot dies too, and Amuro shoots at where the rocks are coming from. Flares are thrown at him, and he sees that 3 children are the ones throwing the rocks. They yell at him to leave the island, so he runs back to this core fighter. A Zaku 2 piloted by Cucuruz Doan appears and through the loudspeaker asks Amuro to surrender. Amuro says he cannot do that. Doan says that he doesn't want to fight. Amuro takes off and fires his missiles at the Zaku. Doan dodges one missile and picks up a boulder and throws it at the second missile. The ensuing blast blinds Amuro and forces him to crash into the ocean. When Amuro wakes up in a cabin, he meets a young girl named Roland. He collapses on the floor and Roland tells him that he shouldn't be moving so soon. Amuro finds Doan working on a field and asks him where his core fighter is. Doan refuses to say where it is. He knows Zeon will come for him soon, and that he has to protect the children. Amuro contends that he needs the core fighter to defend himself from the enemy. Doan says that Amuro will attack him if he hands over the core fighter. The children tell Amuro again to leave. Amuro resists and searches the plane on his own. Amuro stands at the top of a waterfall and surveys the island. He deduces that Doan could have moved the fighter very far from where it was. He takes a bath, and as he sits on the beach, he is joined by Roland. She tells him he doesn't know how beautiful a sunset is. Amuro replies saying that in war, nothing is beautiful. Amuro asks why Doan is using the children, making them stay with him. Roland tells him that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Next, we see Rio searching for Amuro when Bright orders him to return to the ship for the night. Fra is worried about Amuro. On the island, Doan is having a nightmare flashback. He is piloting a Zaku in battle and sees the children crying over the lifeless bodies of their parents. He wakes up and searches the radar for any signs of Zeon. He tells Roland that they have to leave the island, given that they can't change Amuro's opinion. The next day, White Base continues its search for Amuro. Fra detects several objects moving towards the area that Amuro went. Bright orders Mirai to change the course to that direction. Amuro is still searching for the core fighter when the kids start throwing rocks at him again, telling him to leave. He hears something and sees a Lagun with a Zaku holding onto it. The Lagun shoots at the children and Amuro saves the girl from falling. They return to the cabin and Amuro asks Doan for the core fighter. The Zaku lands and destroys the cabin. Doan takes Amuro to a cave behind a waterfall where the core fighter and Doan's Zaku are concealed. Ryu approaches the island and Amuro launches from the waterfall. Doan attacks the Zaku but falls when attacked by the Lagun. Amuro asks Bright to perform a mid-air conversion. Amuro converts to the Gundam and returns to the fight. He destroys the Lagun and Doan tells him to leave the Zaku to him. He says he will fight as long as the children live. He explains that when he accidentally killed the children's parents, he was ordered to kill them too. He instead fled with the kids. Doan destroys the Zaku and throws it into the ocean. The fight ends and Doan says he's no longer safe. But Doan explains to them that Amuro actually did the right thing. In this episode, Doan realizes that he does not want to fight for Zeon or the Earth Federation. He simply wants to protect the children whose parents died from the actions of both Zeon and the Earth Federation. Once again zeroing in on the overall message from the original Mobile Suit Gundam. That in war there are no heroes and no villains, and both sides play a role in death and destruction, and the people fighting these wars are real people with real families, friends, and emotions. So now that we know what the episode is about, we can see that there is nothing that would be controversial or offensive to Western audiences in this episode. So why was it cut from the West? Well, basically Tamino said that the episode was not to his standards. And when you watch the episode, you can definitely tell why. The episode has several animation sequences off model. One big example of that is that 18 minutes and 14 seconds into the episode, Doan Zaku is clearly seen with his shoulders flipped. There's also the scene where the Zaku flying in on the lagoon, which is very campy and doesn't fit the tone of other episodes. And why would the Zaku need to fly in like that? It was also stated that the episode was cut because Tamino himself requested that the episode be cut. Which to him, this one episode may be the epitome of every flaw and mistake in the original series, because this one episode sure has a lot of them. Which brings me to the question, out of all filler episodes for the original Mobile Suit Gundam, why did Sunrise decide to make a full movie about this one episode that most Western audiences have never seen? I don't have an answer to that question, but I am excited for the upcoming film. Maybe we will see the RX-78 and Amuro in some new animation, same with the Zakus. The only details we have so far for the upcoming film is that it will tell the exact same story from another perspective. So maybe this will focus on Doan and the battle that led to the death of the children's parents and Doan's deflection from Zeon. I am hoping it will also show the encounter with Amuro for the reasons I previously stated. Let me know in the comments if you're excited to see the RX-78 again on the big screen with modern animation. If you liked this video or you found it informative, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. If you would like to reach out to me on any other platform, I will leave the links to my socials in the description of this video. Until next time.